Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another episode of your program, The Platform. How was the month? How are we doing with all the challenges out there? And I hope amidst all this, we are preparing and getting ready to celebrate Christmas. Though Christmas this year might actually be celebrated virtually, but whatever it is, we will just adjust and then, we'll roll with it till everything is over. And I pray the Lord will see us through. The Platform is an initiative of STO Global Concepts Incorporated, a non-profit organization located in Canada. On The Platform, we discuss various life's challenges and profile alternative solutions. At the last episode, we discussed overcoming the fears of racism and integration. We want to say a very big thank you to everyone for their comments and messages received after the last episode. We appreciate this a lot and just want to say to you that you should keep them coming in. We will both together proffer solutions to and provide answers to all your questions. After the last episode, we received several calls and requests to continue the discussion on overcoming the fears of racism and integration. In our bid to respond to the requests and please our numerous viewers, we went into a search and came across another wonderful and interesting couple. This couple are originally of Nigerian descent, but they had lived in Nigeria, migrated to South Africa before migrating to Canada. What a journey. But I'm just not sure if they will migrate again. Anyway, we will find out in the course of our discussion today. We decided to bring them on set to continue the discussion and share their experiences with us on the topic, overcoming the fears of racism and integration, workplace perspective. Before I bring on set my guests, let us quickly go on a short commercial break. However, don't forget to share, subscribe to our page, and also invite your friends and families to join us on The Platform. Welcome back. Remember, our topic for discussion today is overcoming the fears of integration and racism, workplace perspective. And in the studio with me today, I have a wonderful couple. So I'll just leave them to introduce themselves. Can we meet you, sir?
Well, my name is Freddy Adekayode. I work as an IT software engineer here in Winnipeg.
Okay, sir. And Ma?
My name is Olufunke Adekayode. I work presently in the healthcare sector.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll go straight to the discuss of today. We are aware, sir, that before you came to Canada, you had migrated and lived in South Africa for 10 years. And then you also came to Canada, and you've been in Canada for the past 9 years, moving from SA to with the family. So can you just tell us the reason why you took that decision to move from South Africa to Canada?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm happy that you actually asked that question, because for us as a family, the reason why we moved all the way from South Africa down here is not necessarily because maybe South Africa didn't treat us well or we didn't have a better life there. Our main reason for moving is more or less like we want our kids to be able to expose to other parts of the world, to see part of the world and change and have a different perspective about life, So it's more like that we thought, okay, you know what, why can't we give the kids a different view, let them go to the northern part of America to try and see what is going on there. So that's one of our main reasons for moving.
Okay, Ma, is that the same thing?
You know what I will say, that leaving South Africa for Canada was emotional, very emotional. It can be emotional if you didn't enjoy it, but we wanted, like I said, we just wanted to, the opportunity came, and we say, okay, it's an opportunity for us to move elsewhere for the children to have the experience. So basically, not because we weren't living good or what, God has not been good to us. He was actually very good to us when we were in South Africa.
Okay.
Michelle, sorry if I can just add.
Yeah,
a lot of people who are friends back then, when we told them we were leaving, they told us we were crazy. That what are you looking for again?
Oh, wow.
What do you really want?
Yeah.
I mean, God has been really good to you, and look at you, and the kids are doing well, and to be honest, that's so true. The kids were really doing well, but for us, it's also more or less like where the Lord was leading us at that point.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't forget that God factor, even though, yes, we wanted to bring the kids. We thought we would come, because not the first time, not the second time that we've had the opportunity of moving, but we didn't. But when it was the appointed time, we prayed, and it was glaring that we just have to move right now. That's why we left.
And okay, yeah.
And even before we left South Africa, Canada, we had tried going to UK. To be honest, so like what he said, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. The earth belongs to the Lord, and at that point in time, he wanted us to come to Canada, not UK. We tried UK, but then it didn't work, and then Canada came up, and then we came to Canada because we were trying to, because of the weather reason again. We're like, okay, we didn't want to come. We're very cold, but then we are here because God wants us to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to still talk about the experiences you've had so far in Canada, but before that, I mentioned earlier that the topic of discuss today is overcoming the phase of integration and racism, and we're looking at the workplace. Right. So often, I'm directing this question to you, Pastor Freddy. Migration is hinged upon lack of job, poverty, and insecurity in countries of migrants. Now, you already told me that you had it very, very good before coming to Canada. Can you just shed more light on this?
Well, so let's be honest, and I'm going to be speaking from my perspective, and so it's relative. So there are quite a lot of people that probably might be listening to us that would probably not agree with me.
Yes, exactly.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that the first time when we first moved. I must be honest with you. I mean, moving from Nigeria to South Africa, it wasn't like that day one. We had to go through a lot of hurdles, to get to eventually where we were. There's this term they use in South Africa to actually describe economic migrant or any kind of migrant anyway. They call it kwere. Okay. And kwere is the term used. It's a derogatory word, to be honest with you. It's a derogatory word that is used. Not funny enough, you would think that when we're talking about South Africa, we're talking about white and black because of apartheid and all those things. But the kind of actually pressure that we see don't come from the white. I mean, our family, we experience it from more of the black brothers and the black sister, and they call us kwere. Kwere means cockroaches. That's what it means. They look at you and they say, well, what are you doing here, kwere? What are you doing? Especially other African migrants into South Africa. But eventually when, again, like you said, when we moved, I have to I got there with my qualification and all those things. I have to go through, integrating, starting all over again, get there. But we were able to move through the rank eventually. I work in a multinational, and then we work in the university. My wife and I, interestingly, we work, the last place we both work for the same organization.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was really good. Promotion wasn't an issue. Our children were really doing well. So I wouldn't really say that eventually, when we compare our moving from South Africa down here, it's due to maybe economic reason, or maybe because we didn't have job, maybe because things were so terrible, that's why we moved. No, it wasn't anything like that. And as a matter of fact, I need to put it on record as well. I actually got a job all the way from South Africa before moving down here. So, yeah.
Ma, was that your experience too, while you worked and lived in South Africa?
Yes, it was the same experience. Like I said, he told you that we work in the same plane. Apparently, University of Cape Town. I must say my experience was a good one.
Okay.
Yes, it's there. The blacks, the racism we experienced was with the blacks. You understand? But at the end of the day, they could see that your calm nature with the humility and your dedication to work, and you knew what you were doing. like I said, the experience I had was good. Because initially when I started as a, was like a kind of a part-time staff and all that. But I just grew up the ranks. Within a short period of time, I moved. And I even actually used pay class. I had to jump a pay class to go to next one just because they were impressed with the way I caught up very fast and the way I worked. So at the end of the day, I was a force to be reckoned with. They didn't have a choice but to recognize with Olufunke Adekayode, and by the special grace of God, I did a lot of things that God just was the one that just backed me up because it was hectic, but God saw me. There were times they put things to me to see if I was going to fail. But surprisingly, I met my target. They were shocked. They were shocked.
Thank you very much, Ma. So you, Pastor Freddy, you were about saying something. Before I go to the next question, I just want to hear a little bit of, because we've been hearing xenophobia.
Yeah.
And we know it's this essays trying to tell other people to leave their country.
Yeah.
What actually is the real thing about that?
To be honest with you, and again, I don't want to use the same brush to paint everybody. But the reality is that for most African migrants who moved into South Africa, they know the reason why they're there. So when you go there, you know that you need to work hard. You know that you're not expecting anybody. You moved there for a reason, right? So when you go there, your attitude to work, your diligence, how you approach life is different from, the system has robbed us our life. It's the government that need to pay us back right now. It's our land and we need to do this thing. Yes, I'm not in any way, shape or manner trying to say apartheid was good. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. But the thing is that at what point in life do you have to come to a point in your life to say the past have to go? Yes. And you have to start afresh. So for those of us who are migrants who move into South Africa, we came because we're looking for opportunity. We are hungry for change. We are hungry for success. So when you give me even to say, okay, sweep this place and make this place clean, my goodness, I see it as an opportunity because, in short, we have a saying that it's almost like we burn the bridge, there's no going back. So it's forward ever. Yeah. You have to make it work. So you go there with that kind of mindset where your mind is like, I have to make it. Yes. There's no going back. So whatever your hand find at that point, just like the Bible says about, have you ever seen a diligent man? You'll be diligent in all things. You put your effort. Even if you are sweeping the floor, mopping floor, doing all those things, you put in all your effort. You want to be the best. So for that, what we realize is that was like a case of the children of Israel that were just growing. And then the people there say, look at these people. You came to meet us in our land and you want to do that. And when you want to do that...
So the migrants became a threat.
Yeah, the migrant became a threat, to be honest with you. And some of the things that they say that we are taking their wives, we are taking their jobs, we are taking their children. And of course, you also know that there are some bad ones that are selling drugs. Yeah. So that's also true. So that's kind of our experience that I'm trying to explain. But that doesn't mean that when you are diligent in your work, you would definitely stand out. And that's exactly what happened to us. The system wasn't really, yes, the system was whatever. And they won't just give job to anybody. They'll give job to the people who can do it. And that's what they do. That you can't just say because you are born here, you don't have the qualification or you cannot do it or you don't have the experience for them to now give it to you. Even though they have what they call the affirmative action, which affirmative action talks about, a South African female first for any job opening. Follow, if you don't find a South African female, then you give it to a South African male. If you don't have a South African male, then you look at what they call, now that's this sound, they use the word colored. Colored means miscast, and then if you don't find them before you even talk about a white South African. So that's the kind of the way things work back then.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'm still putting this next question to you. As a director in your workplace, what is your take or opinion on systemic racism?
You're putting me really on the spot with that question. I think, and you're talking in terms of Canada, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now we're back
now
in
that
Canada.
We're here, right? That's a very two-edged sword kind of a question. I think we should start from, does systemic racism exist? It does. It does. And in my opinion, to be honest, even though Canada is a very good country, Canada has been good to us, but my experience here, in terms of what you have just said, wow, speaks really volume. Like you mentioned, as a director of, IT, I didn't rise to that point. I had to start all over. But, when you happen to find yourself as person of color in a management where you are the only one, you look different, the system make you look, the system in place, make you look, sometimes you find yourself, you're asking, why am I being treated differently, right? And it's a very tough place to be. And I can tell you, the one thing about systemic racism is that you find good people that didn't really know they're actually showing racism because that's the way the system works. So you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're really good, nice people. And I don't want to say it like our brother on the other side said there are good people on both sides. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the system itself, because that's the way it's being done, and you see this in different areas. You would think that as a director, if you have 4, 5, 3 directors, right, that are doing the same work, you would think that, well, their salary should be the same. You'll be amazed that it doesn't work that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I would say that here in Canada, what I find out is that it's quite subtle, that, the way things are being treated, but it's all sometimes lumped in that, do you have Canadian experience? Because when you come down here, you're an engineer, you're a doctor. I'm sure you've heard about engineers who have to go back to driving cab. You see about doctors, even doctors who have to go back again to start, care job or something like that, under the auspices of Canadian experience, right? Yeah. So what you call Canadian experience, you're not really quite sure when it is really being used against you. And then you go to a meeting, they just feel that because, you are this, you are that, you have to start all over. You don't have Canadian experience. You have to, and then you see the people that you even have more qualification, that you have more whatever, that are earning
more than you.
More than you.
Yeah. I'm still coming back to you, Pastor Freddy, but for now, have you in any way encountered systemic racism either in Canada or South Africa?
I would like to speak about South Africa. And like I said, keep saying that it's not really it's black versus black now. They're feeling a kind of inferiority complex. It's like they want to shut you down. You know something, but they want to pretend as if you are not given any recognition. But like I said, because at that point in time when I was there, when we were in South Africa, God wanted us to be there. That's why so it was a kind of a struggle. I had to do more than others.
Okay. So far in Canada, you haven't really had any experience like that?
Maybe because of the nature of the job that I do, I've not really experienced it.
Okay.
You know that? Because you have more of the colored people doing what I do.
Okay.
So, yeah. Maybe in the offices, if you have any dealings with them, but I can't really say much about that.
So in your opinion...
It exists.
Okay. Because
I'm about asking, it exists.
Does it exist or...
It does exist, because even when the children come back home, they tell me a lot of stories.
Okay.
Yes, which we never had when we were in South Africa. So it's more pronounced here.
Okay. So we can say, Pastor Freddy, that it's more pronounced in the workplace. Depending on the kind of job one is...
I will actually say that, let me even take in more than the workplace.
Okay.
Back in South Africa, most of our kids' friends are white, colored, like I mentioned earlier on. We found it a little bit different here, integrating even into the society, right? Let me give you an example.
Okay. Example
of a play date or sleepover.
Yeah.
Right? We had kids. I mean, well, they don't do that anymore. But when they were younger, they'll have, play date. They have. In South Africa, it was a lovely thing, the white would, and so we had our neighbors who are twins, white twins. They would come to our house, they would bring their mattresses and say, we are going to sleep over in the next house. And they're happy, and their parents are not even talking. Here we find it very difficult. We're different, rather. whereby even when our daughter invites somebody to come over to sleep over or anything, the parent of their friend don't even deem it fit to knock at the door to say, oh, we want to meet you. Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Adekayode, thank you for inviting. They just drop their kids off and they just drive down. Back in South Africa, the parent would say, oh, we became, most of the friends that we had back in South Africa,
our kids.
They threw our kids, and they became our very good friends, even up to today. Right? But here is really different. And again, the idea of institutional, systemic racism here in the workplace, I see that firsthand in terms of remuneration, for example. First generation, I can't remember, maybe 2016 census revealed a major gap between what the black community are earning and their counterpart from other races are earning. It's like there's about 17,000 between a particular grade to the other doing the same job.
Wow.
In some cases, even the black people having a better qualification than the other one, and yet we still have about $17,000 different.
Yeah, I think this is getting so much interesting. We'll quickly go on a short commercial break, and after that, we will be back with the Adekayodes. Stay tuned. So I welcome you back, and we are still on your program, The Platform, and the topic of discourse today is overcoming the fears of racism and integration, and we're looking at the workplace perspective. So I still have with me on set the Adekayodes, and we are going back to our discussion for now. So Ma, before we went on that short break, I was about asking you a question, so I'm going to pose that to you now. How have you been able to cope with racism while raising your children into countries that is ordinarily not their country of birth? Can you just share an insight into that with us?
I would say like our experience in South Africa was good regarding that, because like my children did not see color. All they saw that they were all kids with the other ones. And the school they went were predominantly white. Oh. White children that were there. They never came from home once to complain or whatever, having a nasty experience or anybody talking them down or anything. It was a peaceful and a nice one. And most especially, they spoke one of the main languages there, Afrikaans. So again, they enjoyed it, and the experience there was good. And bringing them up to was a nice one, because at the end of the day, like I said, they never saw color. But coming to Canada, that's when they knew that they were different, that they saw color.
So what's the difference?
Because the way they were being treated in school, they saw that children being bullied, which wasn't what was happening in South Africa. It was a child that now, you see my children saying they want to belong, they want to be able so that they can also be rated like others. There was no that in South Africa, we didn't have it. But here, because It's like they have, I don't know, maybe they have groups that you don't belong to because you are of this color. You understand? So you, at the end of the day, you'll find them struggling to belong, to mingle.
And all through this time, what do you tell them?
Most of what I tell them that you are who you are. Normally what I say, look at the world, black is beautiful. They don't just know your beauty. But one thing I know, like my husband will also say, that if you want to beat them hands down. You just be good in your academics. They'll be like, they won't have any cause not to relate with you because you are up there, right? And I keep on telling them, we are just sojourning here. You know where you're from. You know your root. You are from where you are back from Africa, right? You are not a true, well, how do I say? You were not born here. You understand? So don't forget where you're coming from, regardless. Don't let anybody make you feel inferior. You understand? Black is beautiful. And always encourage them with that. Okay. Don't give in to whatever threat it is. If there's anything you can't handle, make sure you report to the authority.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am. So, Pastor Freddy, how do the children relate with this?
So, my wife says something very profound. Like, I really want to go back to that point. You say back in South Africa, the kids were going to wired school, they speak the language. That's key. If you want to integrate to any community, be like them.
Yes.
Because that's key. So you can't come from another country where you're bringing your own culture, where we know you bring your own culture, and you would try to okay, let me try and do what they're doing. Learn the language, eat the food that they eat. Because that's the best way. You can't just go to their meeting and say, oh no, I don't eat this. And I make them, they feel like, okay, so do you think something is wrong with us? So if you want to integrate into any society, try to learn what they're doing, right? And that's one of the things. The kids speak Afrikaans fluently, and Africa is like a Dutch, Miss Dog, like Dutch. And they play with them and they do all this. So I just want to bring that, there. But what we have found out here, with that mindset where we're coming, we want to go. So we got our kids into sport, like doing sport, for example, doing soccer, because, you meet with other family who are doing things. You try and, kickstart a conversation. Or what do you do? Well, you even want to talk to people. But what we've realized here is that, and I know that, when we're coming down here, one of the sales speech of Canada is family life. Come here, the family is good, which is true. But what we realize is that concept of family life is not a general family life. It's more like an individualistic family life. Yes. You and your children. You can't just go into other people's space. No. You can't just bump into somebody. They consider you rude. They consider you loud. Yeah. In short, and you know what, we Africa, even the way I'm speaking right now, I'll be yelling.
Yeah,
this is the timing, like you are yelling.
You're shouting.
You're shouting. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm yelling? This is the way I talk. I don't talk any other way. So that's one of the things that I've seen here that I really want to. But what have we done? Our kids now, they've they're much older, they've been able to find their own friends and find their own whatever. So it's almost like developing a cushion to manage the situation. My two boys are like the same, I think the difference of 2 years, but so they are their own friends themselves. They do their own things together. They float together. They have a couple of their friends.
So we can actually say that individualistic.
Well, if you can't beat them, what do? You have to join them. Yeah. So that's how we are coping with it right now. We just try to find joy among ourselves. Like my wife said earlier on, we do a lot of trips together. We go outside Canada before COVID-19. Yeah. We do a lot of trips. We stay together. Sometimes we just take out, and then we go the weekend. We just go and spend weekend alone by ourselves, and it is what it is. You have to make it work, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I'm going to put this question out to both of you at the same time. So
maybe you answer.
Okay, bro. Yeah. So Ma, it's your turn. So putting Canada side by side with Nigeria and South Africa, can you share your thoughts on systemic racism and integration? Canada side by side, South Africa and Nigeria. No, Nigeria, South Africa, Nigeria, Canada, and then Nigeria, Canada, South Africa.
So in three perspectives.
Nigeria.
Do you want me to take that?
Take that first. Let me be thinking what. Yeah.
So what she's asking us, of course, we started from Nigeria, right? So if you consider Nigeria and South Africa.
Maybe I should quickly put this in.
Okay.
Looking at all those things that happen back home in Nigeria, like this person doesn't want this person to move, that person doesn't want, we have ours too. Now, using the word racism. Yeah. So how
So again, don't let us use the word loosely, right? Maybe we actually say discrimination, right?
Maybe
which is kind of also rooted.
Yeah.
But if you compare Nigeria to South Africa, I will tell you this right now, and this is the gospel truth. The level of maturity I've been able to achieve just by moving outside Nigeria, if I had to be in Nigeria, because my father is not a minister, my father is not known in the society, I'll be discriminated against. That is in my own country.
How?
Good question. How? Because we were in a society whereby if your family do not belong, there are certain jobs you can't get.
Exactly.
Things are not done on merit.
Yes.
Things are done based on Godfatherism.
Man, no man.
Man, no man. Who do you know, right? And here you are, coming from, like I say it all the time, my father can't read or write, my mother can't read or write. Who born me? To try and even to imagine that I want to have certain things. The society repress you like that.
Yes.
Make you feel, start from just, we can take the whole day, but just start from your megad, what we call megad in Nigeria, your gate man, right? As you are coming from work, you are hooting, papa, you are hooting because you want the gate man to open the gate all the way from like a kilometer away. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but what I'm saying is that is a kind of a society whereby, don't you know who I am? Oppressive society. Yeah. So that's even in Nigeria. So if I look at that, for example, compared to South Africa, I would say they didn't even see me that way. It's almost like, okay, you say you're a concert pianist, you can play that. That's the piano, go and play it there. Yeah. So if you like, hang yourself. If you like, don't hang yourself. That's the way we work. It's by merit, right? Merit. And that was why, I'd rather let me compete, let the playing field be the same.
Level.
Let it be level, so that you and I can come and say, okay, fine, this is what I know and this is what you know. So if I compare that, just using that one example, I would say that, honestly speaking, then South African racism is like a junior brother to what I experienced in whatever. Right?
Now I just remembered something. Before I left Nigeria for South Africa, I was working in the bank. Okay. And you know what it means working in the bank? We work late and everything, and the titles and all that. But when I was at the bank, we had some of our bosses. Oh no. I didn't have really too good with a particular lady. She was always oppressing. You would do something, she would always an error in what you've done. As if she's picked on me. At that time I left Nigeria, I wanted to get out. I needed to leave.
Like you were actually yearning to
I was yearning to leave. Yeah. My husband was like, okay, you want to hold on now. Things are not sorted. Things are not the way we want it to be. You cannot come. I said, no, I have to. He didn't want me to leave. I said, no, I had to. Thank God before he left Nigeria, he got our visas, so we were okay. But what I was telling you that working in the bank, we had to be deceitful. We could not, you will leave your jacket behind, letting your boss believe you were still around, because you could not leave before your boss leaves. In South Africa, on the dot, your boss cannot tell you not to go. On the dot, you've just shut down before it is time. And nobody will query. But South Africa, Nigeria, you couldn't do that. Yeah. The condition, even you couldn't do that. You had to wait till your boss leaves. You'll be one as he gone, watching before you leave. When it's time to close, why wouldn't you go?
So, of course, they have to say that you are working very hard.
But here, you're working very hard. And then you go, your boss, never satisfied with what you've done. They will always see one error or the other, just because they want to they want to have something to say somewhere one other time. And at the time I left, I was fed up. I needed to leave. And that's my country. It's painful. Yeah. But that's the kind of treatment you get in Nigeria. When in South Africa, there's nothing like that. If you know it, you know it. They'll give it to you. If you know it, you know it. It's by merit. That's why I told you that I started as a part-time. Within a short while, the way I rose up through the rank, I was even shocked. I would go for an interview. They cannot deny it. They'll just tell you, Funke, you were good. It was a good interview. You did this. And they will give it to you. You understand? But in Nigeria, you can even think you've passed. If you know it, you know it. It's by merit. That's why I told you that I started as a part-time. Within a short while, the way I rose up through the rank, I was even shocked. I would go for an interview. They will tell you, Funke, you were good. It was a good interview. You did this. And they will give it to you. You understand? But in Nigeria, you can even think you've passed. Somebody will come from somewhere and put a candidate there, and you'll be shocked to say, but I did when you told me, and somebody told me that you might likely get the job, but the story changed.
That is even if they call you for interview.
No, this, you know, like the time we left South Africa,
so
I went for an interview. They actually had haunted me. They wanted me to come out to a faculty, and they told me, said, Funke, we want you for this post. You are the one that fits it. I said, okay, no problem, I'm willing. I went for the interview they gave me. The day it was announced, because the university immediately sent a mail out that Funke was leaving us, I got calls. What's wrong with you? Why are you leaving? Are you serious? But we're about getting the post, to finalize on the post you wanted and all that. I said, unfortunately, we have to leave. My husband got a job now. They say they give us the time to come in. I can't even wait. Are you sure? They were shocked.
Yeah.
They were shocked.
But in Nigeria, how would that have been?
You probably, the system is against you. You probably won't even hear anything back. Okay. You won't hear anything back. But I want to answer there's one other question.
Canada.
Yeah, Canada and
Africa.
yeah. I want to say, I'll answer this question in terms of our children now. I think every parent needs to build into their children the ability to look them into their eyes and say, you can make it, no matter what is going on. Is a positive message that we need to give to our parents, that we need to give to them, you know.
To the children.
To the children.
Yeah.
Because when eventually we realize that, look, life is not going to be like what you have known it to be. What do you do?
Yeah.
Bring yourself up. Don't die there. Don't cry there and say you want to go back. Going back is not the solution. You know, like people once said, life is about 10% of what happened and 90% of how you react to it. So that message, that positive message is very important. You are too good. You are not. Don't make yourself. Don't think that. Don't second guess yourself. Just because they don't accept you doesn't mean you are not good.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the ways we have been able to cope with that. Comparing South Africa with here, in my opinion, to be honest, I have not really enjoyed socially. You know, as a family, you know, we keep looking at the pain of our life back, looking back as if, can we go back? And I know that if you say this to some people, they'll say, but you're doing well. You're even a director and all those things. I know. I had to go through, start all over, which is also the good thing, right?
Yes.
I started from the scratch. I didn't just rise to the post of a director. I have to go. And in short, as a matter of fact, I went 1 step, 2 steps back. As a manager back in South Africa, I came back here just as a normal person, then rose to a supervisory role, then rose to a manager role, then rose to a director role. And some people say, you've done that in 8-9 years. That's very good for you. But then it has come with a lot of tears too.
And its challenges. I
It is.
Yeah.
Well, we thank God for everything. So finally today, what are your advices for intending migrants when it comes to integration? And that is securing a job in a new environment. Let me start with Yuma.
I think I will advise that they should come with an open mind. Don't set standards. Don't set that standards. You understand? It's not heaven you're coming to. It's still the earth.
Yeah.
And still controlled by men. So when you go there, you know what, you prepare that whatever comes your way, maybe it's a job lower than what you were doing before, do accept it for a while, but have a plan though, you understand? So don't come with, I was a director there, so when I come here, I must look for a director post, and if I don't get it, I'm not going to work, and no. Like my husband will always say, when you come here, you have to relearn, you have to put whatever you know, put it aside. I'm coming here afresh to come and learn new things, you know. It's a new place, new territory. So it's like, that's the mindset you come. Don't come here with high horses. You'll be disappointed. Yeah. You know, like when we came from South Africa, like I said, thank God. God took us there for a reason, my darling husband. For a reason, because there's some things God wanted us to learn at that time before we moved here. Maybe if you had come directly from Nigeria to here, I'm sure it's going to be a different thing we're going to say. But because we were there, you understand? We're coming to Canada. There were some certain things we were expecting to see there. Not that the expectation was so high, but when we got here and when they were not there, we were a little bit disappointed. So, what is it about all this here? Like, as small as putting air in your tire, your wheels, you have to pay here. In South Africa, it's free. So when that one took us back, why do we have to pay to put hair in our tires? It's not so as small as that. That's why we got to say, oh no, why this and that and all that. And then again, when we measure, maybe it's worth a while doing something with the children, the comments, what they say. The moment we came out, they were saying they wanted to go back. They said, but we've just come. We've gone, we left our jobs and everything. This year we make the best out of it. So everything we're doing, we're making effort to make our children, you know what, to enjoy while they're here. And I know kind of a thing, like they've built their own thing, they have their own friends, kind of. And you can actually see that the friends that they have, very close friends, have the same skin color with them.
So for me, what I actually tell people when they are coming in is that they should have an open mind.
Yeah.
And their mentality shouldn't be so rigid, like it cannot bend. So finally, Pastor Freddy, what advice do you have for new migrants or intending migrants when it comes to integration and then sourcing a job in a new environment?
So I will start from where we started in the beginning. My advice is know your why. Very important.
The reason why you take
Why
that step.
are you here? Why did you make that decision to come? And for those of us who are watching right now, especially maybe you are even watching, you are not in Canada yet, you're planning to come here. Canada is not paradise. I need to say this. You need to change your mindset, especially from our people back home who just feel that we're picking money on the street. Who just feel within 3 months of moving to Canada, you should be sending Lexus and Mercedes-Benz to clear it at Papa for you and do all those things. That's not how it works. In this country, you pay your bills on a monthly basis. In Nigeria, you probably will have paid rent for 2 years. You're not even worried about that. You can quickly run to your brother and say, bros, can I have 10,000? Can I have 100,000? In this place, your credit card is your brother, is your sister.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to say is this, because a lot of people will be shocked after getting here. Is this what they think? Oh, we thought it was Canada. And a lot of people they now begin to make comment. The question I ask them that, what do you expect? What's your expectation? So if you know the reason why you're making that decision, for whatever, because our reason differ.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Our reason differ.
Yep.
Like we said, our reason is because we wanted to just our kids to be able to have. Because honestly, my wife and I will say, in short, one of our prayer, remember, when we were coming here, I said to the Lord, if it is for job, I say, God, you can afford to feed us even without job in South Africa. So why are you bringing us here?
Yep.
And the Lord said, I will tell you why I'm bringing you here. And that's what. So every one of us must find the reason why we're making that decision. And then once you know that reason is what will keep you sane. Because otherwise, you want to go whatever. That reason will keep you sane. It will keep you sane not once, not twice, because every time you keep going back to it, oh, this is why we came. Oh, this is why we came. You have to keep that in view, to keep looking at all the time. This is why we came. And in terms of integration, I'm going to say that, life is what it is. If you find out here that they are eating samosa, eat it with them. If you find out here that you must take permission before I do it, find your own happiness, because happiness is free. Otherwise, if you are trying to make your happiness based on, they are not doing parakpo, they are not doing bating, they are not doing all these things, you'll be frustrated.
Yep.
So find your happiness is my recommendation, and be happy and stick to the reason why you move, and then who knows?
And securing a job.
And securing a job, I would say that be realistic as well. Be realistic. I will tell you this on that issue of securing a job. Know where your strength is. I say to people all the time, don't chase success, chase value. Yes. What problem can you solve? Organization don't recruit you because you are cute. Organization don't recruit you because you have 6-pack. They recruit you because you can add value.
You have that
What value can you add? So a lot of us have resume and or CV or whatever you call it with all this thing. What value can you? What problem can you solve? Because when organization recruits you, they are looking for somebody who can solve a problem. And if you can't solve a problem, let me tell you now, being on the other side of recruiting people, when they give you a job, right? And I'm telling whoever is watching right now, and all the time you have to go and meet your colleague. And how do I do this? You go there once, you go there a second time, you go there. Do you know the other time? You'll be the one to go and tell your boss that you don't know what you're doing. So this is what I tell people. If you are recruited as a cleaner, oh my God, go and look YouTube to know how they clean.
How they clean, yes. Everything is there now.
Are you getting what I'm saying? Go read before your meeting.
Yes.
Go there and see that you can add value to what they are doing. Not because and you see, I'm new. You can only be new for they don't have that level of patience to say you can be depending on your colleague all the time to show you what to do. My friend, if you say you are a constant pianist, they're not going. That's the piano there. Go there and show what you can do. So what I'm trying to say is that don't say because you are a manager back home. Don't say I'm a director back home. Even with ministry, don't say I'm a general overseer where I'm coming back home. Here, if you come and talk, the devil fall down, they will just look at you and say, what are you talking about? Preach what people can relate with, and the Lord will help you.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Pastor Freddy and Mrs. Olufunke Adekayode, for sharing your experiences with us on this edition of our program, The Platform. I hope next time you still allow us come into your house.
Yes.
You're all welcome,
most
welcome all the time.
Thank you very much. Okay. And we are still on your program, The Platform. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that short interview with the Adekayodes and you have been able to learn one thing or the other from all the experiences they were able to share with us. So finally, overcoming perspectives about racism and stopping racist behaviors start with changing our worldview. We should blur the concept of self and others and simply treat everyone, whatever their skin color is, equally. We encourage everyone to realize that they are worthy of dignity and respect. At the organizational and community levels, we should oppose contemporary popular ideologies of scientific racism. For example, admission offices at schools, public services, and corporations should not discriminate against people based on their race or color. Organizations should actively support people from historically oppressed groups who, due to racist discrimination, are underrepresented in all areas of public life. Governments around the world should work towards diminishing structural inequalities created by racist social hierarchies. And this is where we draw the curtains today on your program, The Platform. Till we come your way again, always remember, together and with love, we can make the world a better place. My name is Bumi Odunton.